morning.
Hello, Alan.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good honor. Now, I was being a bit naughty this morning. I came round and I told you that was the lunch menu coded in binary on your table. If you didn't get one, I've got some here, so just come and grab one. You're going to need some over there. Well, you've only got 1 minute left to make your lunch choice, so can you quickly let the sheet
Mistake in the fourth
now, in a moment I'm going to tweet something. I'm not like Miles. I can't tweet at the same time as I'm presenting. My name is Alan O'Donoghue. Recently Nesta published a report. They commissioned the London Knowledge Lab and University of Nottingham to write a report on the use of technology in schools. And, you know, we've come from a time where people say, oh yes, that's a fantastic school. They've got a whiteboard, an interactive whiteboard in every classroom. Now, some people might judge a school by the number of iPads in the classroom. So what this report is looking into is technology actually assisting, improving? What sort of impact is it having on learning? And it's called Decoded Learning. Now, there's quite a number of pages in it, but if you want, I can summarize it. It basically says, it's not what you do, it's not what technology you have, it's what you do with it that counts. So it ain't what you do, it ain't what you got, it's the way that you do it. You know? It ain't what you got, it's the way you do it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I want to introduce you to a very quick 5 minutes of power lesson in computing. So I've got something in my hand at the moment. Okay? So just 10 seconds on your table, try and come up with. Think about computing, as many different words as you can use to describe this thing I've got. So think like a computer scientist. 10 seconds. Talk.
Too busy tweeting to talk. What does he say? It's a piece of data. 3, 2,
1. Okay, we're going to start. So, Gary, first of all, can we have a name for this thing? You want to call it a bit? Okay, any other names for this thing I've got in my hand? Oh, sorry, what's a bit?
Binary digit.
Okay, so binary digit is a bit. Somebody was shouting something out. Go on, Alex, shouts. An integer, so it's a whole number. It's got no decimals or anything on the end. Any other words?
True.
True, correct. That's not false. On, yeah, anything else? Nobody mentioned it's 1 as well. Okay. So, it's a bit. So now I've got another piece of paper in my hand. It's got 8 of those things that we call bits, integers. Somebody said binary digit altogether. What do we call this thing? 10 seconds.
11 bytes.
Check the people sat next to you. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Gentleman there in the hoodie. It's 8-bit binary. Okay, do you know what we call that whole thing together? A byte. Okay, so now we're going to turn to. Oh, you've got a piece of paper on your table. Okay, just first of all, just count how many there are on there. What you can do, count the number of rows and columns and multiply it.
8 columns.
And I've got a prize for the first person to get the correct answer. Come on, first person to shout out the correct answer. You have to shout it, it's no good whispering. 470. That means nothing to me. Sorry. 13 what? 513.
448.
Any advances on 513 what?
448.
448.
512 is possible.
There's 64 rows and there's 8 columns.
That would be 500.
Come on, simple mathematics.
64 times.
I didn't get the right number of rows.
56 rows.
512.
56 rows.
512.
512. Okay, you get a prize. Okay, well done. Okay, so 512 bytes on there. Okay, so if I took it and added another piece of paper next to it, what have I now got?
You've got a K.
I've got 1,000, or I've got a kilobyte. Somebody shouted megabyte. That's a kilobyte. That's 1,000 bytes together. Now I've got this idea in my classroom. I want to put a display on it because children don't really understand how powerful computers are. So I'm going to stick this on the wall with blue tack. And then stick that on the wall over there with blue tack. And now what I want to do is I want to put a kilobyte on the wall so they can see what a kilobyte looks like. And now what I want to do I want to put a megabyte on the wall so children can see what a megabyte looks like. How many pieces of paper am I going to need? Right, you've got 10 seconds.
2024.
No.
2048.
2048.
Or use a
Okay,
small
so
font.
which wall do I put 2048 pieces of paper along? Oh my goodness, I think I'm going to need a long wall. In fact, if I measure a piece of A4 paper, and I realise it's 210 millimetres that way, 430 metres. So I need a wall 430 metres long. That sounds massive. When I got a computer in 1981, and it had 1 kilobyte of memory, I could store stuff on 2 pieces of paper. But now, for a megabyte, I need 2048, 430 metres. What about, we don't really talk about megabytes nowadays much. We talk about gigabytes. How many pieces of paper would I need to show a gigabyte?
Just over 2 million.
32 million? Hang on, it's a big number. I wrote it down. Just as... Wow. 2,048,000 sheets of paper. Okay, so that's quite a lot of reams of paper. In fact, for 1 gigabyte, if I was to line them edge to edge to edge to edge, it would take me up to Gretna Green, and just about 6 miles from London to Gretna Green, about another 6 miles beyond that. That's how much a gigabyte is. And the problem is, when we use words like gigabyte, we kind of demean the size of it. Some of you, I noticed, have got phones in here. We've probably got like 8 gigabytes of storage on that. 8 gigabytes. And if you're going to store all of that on those same pieces of paper I showed you, 8 gigabytes, well, if you led them end to end and started from Land's End, you could walk to John O'Groats and back, and then come down and stop at round about Birmingham. That's 8 gigabytes. And how quickly can a computer find, because on yours you've got 1 byte on your piece of paper is 255. Can you find it? There's 1 byte, it's 255. It's the maximum number you can store in 8-bit binary. Have we found it yet? If we were to time you, it might take you 3 or 4 minutes. Probably take a computer something like...
It should be easy, shouldn't it?
If you put them in order, it would be.
Like a nanosecond, perhaps, to find it. Come on.
Need a computer.
You're going to have to do better than this. Well, I'll tell you what, something to do later on. Okay? What was I going to finish with? So we talk about things like terabytes. If we were going to show a terabyte on a piece of paper, we'd be able to make a path to the moon and just go slightly beyond the other side of the moon. That's the size a terabyte is. Okay, thank you very much for listening.
Yeah, I'll try and...
I forgot to say, that lesson works if the power goes down, if your iPad stops working, you don't have the Wi-Fi password. Take the piece of paper, photocopy it, and maybe do 2048 copies.
Very good. Very good.
Oh, and Ian, by the way, you won 256 megabytes. Okay?
Thank you. I'll treasure it.